Welcome everyone to more live Linux distribution development here on our channel. As more and more users join, of course they discover that we can also do some things better. One thing, of course, I mean in general I would expect new users to just install new packages, but of course some want to build a whole new distribution for some reason. Although yes, it is sort of one major use case of T2, of course, but it's of course funny that the first thing they need to do is build yet another distribution. But of course, that's fine for them to do. The one complication with that is that we cross-build everything to cross-build the same for everything from ARM to x86 and everything of the 24 architectures in between. And we can't cross-build Perl, which by the way, do we have a GitHub entry bed? So two things, remind me later, not live on YouTube. Are you effing kidding me? Why is always this? I mean, can you bloody web companies and people do live streams these days? Can you not stop displaying the security shit live on? Oh, stop harassing me with this. It's hilarious. Do we have cross-compiling Perl and remove areas of? Here. Cross-compile. Yeah. So theoretically, once upon a time, if you want to work on that, once upon a time, Perl somewhat cross-built Python best with a type cross-compile. Okay, we have bugs for that, so you can work for that. By the way, should we? You know what? Let's be generous. We are so generous, right? Not only 20 years of Linux system development, even handing out here some money, right? Let's at least give them something for working on that. So we don't have Perl on those default images, which is not ideal because then stuff fails. So let's uninstall Perl like that probably. And so two things, we should probably add Perl. So I uninstalled this for test reasons here of my local change root jail. And we also, two other things. So that is one thing we will need to work on, adding that. It should be relatively trivial, but let's see also as trivial as drop frames there with Vodafone stocks and shit. And so then there's also one other smaller thing to do. Mainly, we now have the first package that doesn't support Linux anymore, and as we also support Homebrew on macOS and potentially other BSDs or Haiku, we should get kernel metadata tag packages to auto-select, which looks like I've not implemented that. And last but not least, I wonder, should we build 25 build variants right now for mostly architectures. So basically 23 architectures plus x86 4 times for 32-bit, 64 bits and AMD 64 x32 and a Musel variant for testing and you playing along at home with Musel. I wonder if we should also build a more high performance variant for those benchmarking T2 against clear Linux, basically having yet another, yes. Personally, previous videos, my microkernel and future stuff, I would prefer stuff JITted like Java, just small, minimal and high performance and stuff, because now we have exactly the issue, right? We build some baseline AMD 64 and that works for everyone, and if we don't, then people complain, but I test this on my old system. So I wonder, do we need another high performance variant? In ideal world, previous video, I would JIT that to native code for auto magically just in and ahead of time. But we don't really have that. So yeah, do we need yet another build variant? Leave me the comments below. I also wondered, by the way, do we have, how did we do that? Maybe, okay, we have this here cross. How is that? 0.13. Do we not bootstrap Python? Oh, this throat is, post-COVID throat is not the most fun for me after 2 weeks in. Very sorry for that. I wish it would be different. I thought we can check that. So I have a completely fresh build here from the other day, from yesterday. I thought we built, wait a second, we cross-built Python? Since when did we cross-build Python? I totally didn't quite recall that. Interesting. I guess, since when is that a thing? I guess we can then delete this just being generous when... Can we close that? I'm not sure if it fully works though. How is that we do that? I mean, once upon a time, so because the idea would be, what the root cause is, new people install T2 from the latest ISO and then want to rebuild T2, and that needs some Perl stuff. Like at least Perl lib XML for some stuff. And yeah, that is a little bit different. As per usual, yeah, it looks always so. Why is it how it is? Because it always takes an extra hour off after 20 years and plus 1 hour off. But do we have Bootstrap or Minimal? Where do we have Python? Do we have that in? Where is that coming from? There have Python. Yeah, because then we theoretically need Perl and because you can never have, like, basically in the minimal system you nowadays already need next to everything. Oh, don't tell me that comes from oh no, there is Perl lib XML. Is it that one? Yeah, so many XML things. I would need to double check. So yeah, probably. So once upon a time, what I write this lib XML thing. Whatever is needed to fully bootstrap that Perl. Oops. The other thing, so I will probably test this later, that's maybe too boring, but leave me in the comments below. And so yeah, also leave me, actually, yeah, we could make a poll on my famous polls there. I mean, it only takes, it takes 2.5 hours of epic thread ripping through it, at least right now, plus binary upload every year, but we probably upgrade to the next Ryzen series, AM5 and DDR5 soon, so maybe that will reduce it to 2 hours just for open source packages and compiler upload to eat that up for the next 12 months, so 1 year, one tick, one talk, and at the end of the year you have the same compile performance. Especially with adding so many packages. So the other thing is, where we even, I probably should make a dedicated video. So the Xorg people broke quite some stuff, and also they removed Linux support from the keyboard driver because you're supposed to use fdev now, and we actually built that by default just to have it for vintage reasons, and that doesn't build now anymore. I already added kernel, not for Linux anymore, but that doesn't work yet. We need to implement that. Because recurring theme, what you didn't implement in your code, does obviously not work. So the thing is, I don't remember where we, would it be desk R? So we, the problem is I don't even remember where that is from. Architecture. Do we not have here? Where would that? So you know what? This is actually not my preferred style. Okay, this is theoretically I don't like spaces before function names. Who did that? Was it me? At least I touched most of it last. Okay, it was me. Maybe 15 years ago I was not yet so established with my coding style and tried too much random stuff. So it would be config, there would be, so we do that for architecture already. Oh man. We just need to, okay, it does not on the first glance. Where would that be? Somewhere some filter based on architecture. Where would be the package? Ah, maybe here enable cross. What do we have? Ah, yes, cross. Okay, this is directly cross. Yeah, often, also a recurring theme here, often it takes quite a while just figuring out where the heck the stuff is coming from. There is cross build. There are targets. Yeah, this is why I obviously don't let you even live stream everything. Where would that be? And documentation is one thing. Obviously, you can't also always document everything. Actually, maybe it's not desk R. Actually, it could also be that we have this somewhere. Download, emerge, parse, config. Do we have that in architecture somehow? Architecture share. Don't see that. So what I want to do, I obviously want to copy the style of that. Because somewhere we need to package filter that. How would that even be? Maybe sometimes it sounds so simple. If you don't even know how 15 years ago you've done that for the architecture stuff. There are frames. How long could that search? I don't. I probably have that only if we have some pre-config. Do we even have the kernel? Let's check what we... So the T2 works with plain text files. So, not config. For good reasons, to be able to automate and process this with all normal shell scripting. What do I even do here? And so do we have the architecture? Ah, that is interesting. The architecture is already not in here, so that must have been done before. Maybe there is some create package list with, I think, yeah, there was some. Yeah, here's Arch. Ah, yes, it is even hard-coded. Why do we have Linux here? Or is it... Oh, maybe this is just the default. It's probably just the default. And then we probably add kernel. Does it here? Active packages, config title. I hope that works in this order. If we're unlucky, then maybe... Actually, theoretically, we could even default to the uname here. If you build on macOS, it defaults to Darwin. So more we do. Welcome everyone. Greetings. So good, we found that. Let's see, create. Let's probably check. Why do they check here not equals 1? This is a little bit super. Okay, this they check for. Okay, they check for this would still be true if it's a directory. If we remove that, you always need to. Also, maybe we should use proper VI stuff to copy that, otherwise we have bloody white space. Should. Less than 1. Less than. I mean, theoretically, we could. Do we have already fake directories for the kernels? We actually do have that. Actually, I wonder, did this before work? Because we had this min-gw. And that was working a decade ago already, before my YouTube stuff. Actually, I think I added the kernel thing for min-gw, to be honest. But maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't add that to. Yeah, no, that's actually there. It's just this typo apparently. Yeah, because it wasn't used. I maybe added that and didn't. If what you don't use, a test is broken, right? Do both have typos? Maybe. Yep. Only life here is typos, 15 years later. I probably should actually test that. You know what, I have not used that. We kind of actually, we didn't rebuild that for a long time. It probably broke. I think I remember it broke. Nothing like a growing to-do list. Actually, we could, you know, but we could check. So we lose. Okay, let's do it like that. Doesn't matter. Just to have here. We should put that in one, but I'm in one conditional that I'm. I don't want to break that stuff now at night. Can refactor that another day. Famous last words. So architecture. So maybe we should rework that also to use Lua and not a custom org parser. Do we even have kernel here? We don't. Not a fan of this intermixed org stuff. That was, yeah, probably time to modernize that too another day. But it works. So where do we arch? We need to basically copy the architecture stuff. It's actually pretty evolved here. Oops. Oops. How did I press E1 there? Oh. Ah, shit, no. How did I get the 1 there? Why always? I think Wim hates me. Leave in the comments below if you think Wim hates me. Why is there a 1 again? How did I do that? Strange stuff. Probably should also. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I wonder if we should delete this support for long names, because basically we don't use them, and it's maybe also not good style to promote arbitrary. I don't know. So if arch, maybe, and so then kernel. So kernel equals if negative and kern. What did we call it? Kernel. For intentionally started index implicit exclusive selection to. Okay, so that should be plus and. Implicit. I didn't even know we supported that. Wow, I always put the. Wait a second. Intentionally start. So we are comparing stuff with plus. Yeah. Shell scripting. Anyway, so kernel. So something not found, remove it. So intentionally start. So what do we have here? If it's negative, so if it matches, then delete it. Otherwise, X. Wait a second. So if this kernel matches in this negative list, then delete it. And next, okay, and I mean it worked for architecture. It probably works here, I guess. Let's see if it works. So that should have the effect. Maybe we copy this. Yeah, pro tip: always copy some metadata that you can verify easily that you didn't completely ruin it, and that in general works. Like it should work. Come on, happy you enjoy the videos. Cool, end of line matching for what have I ruined? No. Did I even modify that? Or probably just some. There is some. I deleted. Actually intended. Actually, I thought I copied that from. Kernel. So actually, I intentionally deleted that. Didn't realize. I thought it was a copy and paste left over. How many drop frames do we encoding overloaded? How so? The fans don't even spin up from the RX. What is it even? Start to forget this. Excuse. So, 3000 something packages selected. Does that look? Somehow that looks strange. Somehow that does indeed not really work how it was supposed to. Should we maybe, which was it, create? I mean, we could dry run that. So we have here architecture, there kernel. We assign, actually we don't assign that there, we assign that, maybe we need to also probably, no? Where do we run this org? Where does... It runs. I mean, I changed that. Would that not that breaks something sometimes? And where can we run? Let's dry run that without all the other architecture and see if we spot something. So that should be x86-64 is not a valid kernel. That is indeed true. That was a test. I mean, it does something. Let's maybe reference and let's run that with Darwin. Also I'm stupid. Okay, that does not yet have MinGW. That changes something. Okay, so those. I think negative works and positive not yet, huh? So should we name this K just as this A was for architectures? Probably we should theoretically change this to oops. Unless I somehow messed something up and split. Or did I, maybe we did we do that wrong? What did we had there so far? So we want mostly, so negative, wait a second, but never, negative list did not yet work because we have this new bloody XOR package that doesn't support Linux anymore, so and I probably make a dedicated shout out about this nonsense. So that is k-linux. I think this is how it was. I mean, in the future we will have even more of that. And now it did more. Did we just fix something? Actually, this looks actually maybe even better, whatever I'm not even sure. Could this variable rename from A to K fix something? So because now we have indeed the firmware, Linux firmware stuff deselecting and the Linux specific. So I added that already for some stuff, probably for Mac OS Homebrew. And yeah, I guess that looks like it could work more. The only question is, do we not wait a second, did I somehow ruin the config? Maybe we ruined the config with, maybe that is why, maybe this is syntax error, it ruined the config, because previously we had here, that is why the package number is off. Wait a second, we want minimal desktop. So, yeah, I guess then let's keyboard in this config. That should be gone then. Yeah, or input for all remaining. It's still quite some. Most of which are of course not selected because they are samples and stuff, and who needs all this random stuff. But yeah, keyboard is not there anymore, at least as far as I've seen. Yeah, super stupid from the upstream Xbox people to remove that, but that's what they usually do. So I guess we can commit that. Alright, it might have been too files also, right? Alright, this was that one. Okay, config and create package list. Implemented allow and or how do we call this, as something of that sort. So then we have that. Then we have typos. Here, not sure how that happened, but somehow it happened. That's when you're not using it. Only edit this is information. Oh man. Something of that sort. And then also, lo and behold, XF video video input keyboard marked. Marked actually package name. This sentence no subject or so marked. Not supported in kernel anymore. They have a 2022 innovation at the forefront of technology and obviously the of desktop Linux. Most important change. So that were the major things, and the small stuff should actually put this in the to-do, because I think maybe I should catch some more sleep with this bloody last 5 or 10% of COVID nonsense. Otherwise, it's not getting much better somehow, which sucks pretty much. So this was tool chain build Perl, and actually we had that here. Just thought I had this here. No, what's it? We had this, and so this was Perl. What was the other thing? Toolchain build Perl. What did I send? I'll probably need to rewind my own video. Kernel. I know this were the three things. Kernel stuff we have done, Perl stuff, and I forgot the other one again. Maybe don't get COVID. What was it? Kernel, Perl. Somehow I missed something now. What was my title of this video? Anyway, the other thing would be high performance stuff. I probably need to make a poll. I can really, as more as I speak, the more my throat scratches. That is such a fucking shit. So this more usable Perl, alright, yeah, probably more performance. So I mean, building high performance is easy, except wasting download time and stuff. But for the clickbait and competing with clear Linux and stuff, was it? Oh yeah, thanks for that. That would actually we could, because we have this Lua bash accelerator. So maybe thanks for that tip. port org script fragments to Lua dash plugin writer. Maybe that would be a nice thing. There's also a little bit use of Perl that is not like for normal use, but maybe I think I had a to-do somewhere, like maybe even on GitHub. Wherever is, by the way, nothing phone 1, of course, still need to make that video. Where is do not disturb? There is do not disturb. Precious new little phone, Instagram, and review coming soon. So, Perl, not even at night people don't call me. No, search is somewhere else. Here's search. There's search. Yeah, so we had that. The use is very little. Some stuff, I mean, obviously it was done in Perl, at least some stuff, because it was handy, but yeah, I mean, this stuff is potentially to be deleted anyway. I mean, we could actually, you know what, we could, how long do the live stream? 30 minutes, 35. What time is it even? Approaching. Can this fancy little telephone show the time? Yes. In fat.matrix print. Like the time has to be shown in 2022. So, Perl. Did I add this already? It was some, which even was that, which package needs, I need to check my email, I don't have my email at hand here. It's this workstation. Yeah, I will see if it was that one. So, I mean, yeah, it's not the worst thing. Never was a fan of Perl. I already 20 years ago, when I was young and naive, I found it not good. I mean, yeah, probably time confirmed my initial impressions that 20 years ago. Many people loved it somehow, but I always found it messy and So what we this such a dry scratching shit you can't believe. I probably can believe. I'm not okay. What did I want? Cross actually. And so we would also need to change that to Bootstrap. So maybe, how do we do that? If do we usually do that, or P and what is it? P doesn't matter, question mark in all of packages. Yeah, that is supported. So what that means, I probably added support for that live on YouTube some year ago. 0, 1, 2, 3. What it means is if we're cross-building, then build that. Let me just pick up the phone call here. See you in a minute. So here we are. Miro writes, the title was making Linux distribution more usable for new users. Yeah, so here we have the thing, automake. So then we also need to change the priorities. Automake that we build Perl. So in the future we will also sometime soon, sometime next. So automake needs Perl. And so that is the only sucking thing of this. If we want to support that, we need to build our own Perl first. Also somehow. That's it. So why does it not build Perl. All right, it's a repository and package. Ah, darn. Ah, somehow this is okay. Do we not have cross-build? Maybe cross-build wasn't selected. I mean, maybe. Maybe we actually always, maybe we change that to 0 then. Maybe we need this for Python too, I'm not sure. So the difference is then we always build it also for native builds, because obviously if you don't have Perl, you also need it for the native build. But we want cross-build. Actually, some of this is anyway stupid. I mean, because it is not precisely the config I wanted. Fine, no, doesn't matter. I hope that is close enough. But yeah, every day some coding brings us obviously one step closer to supporting everything. And this kernel is certainly very important for our macOS Homebrew previous video, and supporting building, like transitioning T2 to a truly universal package source thing, supporting all architectures. Okay, so now we have this Perl. Let's see, actually looks like I didn't build Perl in a while. Is there even a new version? So I don't really. Actually, there looks to be something. Huh. Who would have known? Yeah, we will kill it. Live on this channel, just some lucky Perl update in between. Oh, I wonder. Man, when I now have 6 months or so, this bloody, I mean, it's next to nothing. It's just mostly not good for YouTube. I mean, if I wouldn't do YouTube videos, I would basically not even matter that much. Except not feeling like 90% fit and not 100. It also sucks a little bit, but obviously one can survive with this, but just not perfect, obviously. Not being perfect. So then we see probably immediately if at least it has some effect. And so that is the video title, right? Making it more usable, because I mean, I would, if I as a user download T2, I would only emerge some stuff into my system. But sure, if you also use the T2 image, because sometimes I even tell people when they build on Debian and Ubuntu and all the lesser Linux distributions, and random shit happens because they have so many more bugs and strange quirks and patches and stuff. Like, you know what? I can't support each random nonsense. Just download T2. And obviously, if I tell people just download T2 and it still doesn't work, it obviously is also not a perfect impression. So yeah, just wasting some CPU cycles. But also, like the currently super well running video on the main channel, right? With the Carbon language there. This is exactly how many language do we need, right? Exactly the point. So also, if you have not seen this video, you probably want to maybe watch that. Totally exploding that video, which is totally amazing. Didn't even expect that. I mean, certainly that you sometimes, yeah, the craziest videos are soon 100 comments. It's like totally amazing. That is how our YouTube, that's how you build a YouTube channel. So yeah, really amazing stuff. Totally didn't, but yeah, obviously sometimes you are on the right time at the right place, and finally it happened a bit. And what my point is with this video, right? So many languages, and this is why it annoys me. Not only I personally need to work with that, right? Security. I mean, our own products, having to work with Swift. I mean, previously we worked with Objective-C. Why does this not work? Maybe that is some imperfect. Do we have there some native versus also VI? Here, for example, I probably at stage cross. Do we have native. Let's try that probably again. But yeah, not only, so the first 10 years I had, the first 10 years were actually, but even the first 10 years were already annoying because you had this, I mean, C shell obviously, then GNU org, like here even in our own stuff. Perl for me super annoying, then Python. I mean, Perl and Python initially all sucked. Of course, now Python is relatively popular. Then also Ruby, right? Then with languages, of course, Objective-C for Mac, of previously next step, and then Swift and theoretically D. I mean, then it also, I mean, it sucked already earlier because there was so much Java that most people didn't like, and on Linux was a pain in the ass. Even now it's still convoluted chaos, but 20 years ago when I got to this Linux stuff and built and support that, there wasn't even much Linux, there wasn't even much Java to support, right? There were, I mean, there were even like binary only IBM hotspot implementations. I forget even the details. Was the Sun stuff? Maybe the Sun stuff was also binary only. I think it probably wasn't even open source. Maybe as far as I remember, there was this GNU, GCC, GCJ implementation and stuff. So yeah, it wasn't that easy. It's also something outside. So something's not using. Is it user bin Perl? User. Oops. Actually, maybe that one here. That probably should be bin dir. So it means only. I mean, besides it's annoying. But so my point is with languages, right? Here it continues. Then Java, D, C#, .NET, Mono, and where to end, right? And also with that, then you need to support, still 20 years later, you need to support Perl, although next to nobody's using it. Perl 6 mostly failed. Everyone is using Python or Ruby. And you need to theoretically build all of them or theoretically even ship all of them because exotic stuff is using it or users expect that stuff and so on. And then you want to cross-build it, or either cross-building is in, bootstrapping is in headache, cross-compiling is in headache. Then it might break for some architectures because who knows what they do with endianness and other exotic stuff, or signed versus unsigned characters, like stuff randomly failing and so on. It's like basically 20 years. Mostly sure, it's maybe my fault to support all this stuff, but yeah, it's not helping. By the way, theoretically does it? I think it. How was this? Theoretically we want bin dir here too, otherwise it would not work with this long prefix bin dir. Maybe we need to check if we need. Do we need to quote that theoretically? You know what? We probably don't need that here. I guess maybe let's use it not to break it here, but if you want to check that. But yeah, where to end, right? Why do I have criticism? Because even nowadays, right? C, C++, theoretically .NET Mono, then ADA in GCC, Objective-C, theoretically Go, Swift, Zig, Rust, and it's like, and each breaks differently, bootstrap differently, supports architectures, and then you can't support some architectures because nobody else is supporting Spark or whatever. There was something. Native, then, okay, this is only native. I mean, theoretically we could do the whole stuff only. Native to be. Probably don't really need cpan there. That would be at stage native and do that, and then we can remove that here. And this is a chance to work. Let's see. I think this did this. Actually, I also did use a Perl there. Do we do that? ln, no. cross modules. Hydration is also empty already. Not sure where this version number comes from. Maybe Perl is doing it itself. We probably could check the log file. Oh darn, now we have multiple. What would that be? Cross? Yeah, that should be that one. If we are lucky, we... Actually, yeah, it does set in install all for some reason. Ah, darn, which is the latest? So this looks relatively hard-coded. Which directory is that in? Morning, never, outside, install on, maybe top level? Okay, that was clever. Somehow this bin does not look... I have the feeling this... Okay, they have here bin... Do they have dest here? Oh, okay, they have dest here. I have the feeling this stuff doesn't honor the prefix. Yeah, so much to easily add that to Bootstrap. Always a pleasure, especially such old stuff like that here. So it looks like it only accidentally worked sometimes, maybe with this. Wait a second, why is here? Who did that here? Stack protector strong. We run this prefix looks that it is. Do we have bin? No, we don't have bin dear. Why do we not have bin dear? So did this always... Where is the make ops? Do we fully reset those or what? Should we not have more in the make ops? Root, yada, toolchain. Okay, for toolchain, do we not set bindir or what? Bindir? Set conf, bindir, something. Ava, bindir. I'm a little bit surprised we don't have that in the make ops. But we will not just add this. This will likely break other stuff like GCC or who knows, some other random stuff. So I guess we should always add this because it probably... If you wanted Perl and opt Perl for some reason, it would currently not work. Theoretically, our packages should support this if you wanted perfect packages. Here's some config. We probably want to add that here. So that would be bin dir equals... what even do we have? Yeah, a decade ago I mean, I do that so often, but yeah, I guessed it already. Prefix? Hello, so we probably want that. Oh wait, what do we even do here? I guess it's late. We also need that for install. I just wonder if it will work. Yeah, so much work, attention to detail. Also, a recurring theme here, right? The world could be such a perfect place if like stuff would configure, make, install in some super standard defined way, but even the oldest packages, usually I say 20 years ago, most stuff was better, except Perl, of course. But nowadays it is even more of a wild west of everyone does their same, including Google's own, I guess the Carbon language can never have enough languages, enough standards, and enough configuration, build systems and stuff.
I noticed in the media there is some worldwide media.
Someone asked what's the first kernel subsystem they should learn. I usually recommend. Oh, by the way, do we have? Yeah, we have. Can we stop this? Just let me. Sorry, probably should mute that by default again. Usually I have the desktop audio. Usually I recommend. This is my general recommendation for everything. Mostly learn what you're most interested in. Then it's the most fun, and you learn the most and stuff, and you have the most value. Although only second with what, like, if it makes no sense to, like, if you're interested in audio and like audio as it does not make the most sense to learn first, then maybe look at surrounding base stuff like interrupts and resource allocation or DMA stuff or something of that sort, or maybe file system. If you're interested in file systems, maybe that alone doesn't work the best without looking at some I/O subsystem block layer stuff. So something like that. But otherwise, look what you're most interested in, right? If you're interested in 3D, don't look at don't look at file systems if you're interested in 3D. But other recommendation, start with the basics. I mean, if you don't really have the most preference or just need to, like, yeah, in general, a recurring pro tip, otherwise start with the basics, I would say. Yeah, someone says, are too many programming languages? Exactly what I commented. I commented exactly the same, or similar. I wrote exactly like it. For me, it is like for 20 years I have to integrate and get everything working, and like it became tired after 10 years already. But after 20 years, you can believe me, I'm extremely exhausted of all this. Getting everything to work, everything constantly breaks, and then everyone reinvents the wheel with the next big thing, which is barely different. And after 5 years, I've been done, or has the same issues, and I've been done and stuff. So, yeah, and I wrote like it feels to me like the Tower of Babel, where at the end nobody could understand each other anymore. Because I mean, one person writes stuff in C, the next in C++, the next in Swift, Zig, Lua, Ada, Carbon, Swift, Nim, Hair, and it's like, yeah, also maintaining, right? And then in your module is a bug, like, yeah, good luck understanding the code that it's not the language that also that you usually use. And then in a project, it's it is one thing for mostly being C++ and having some new Rust modules or gradually migrating everything to Rust, but mixing everything even more with more, well, like on like not a new module rewrite, but like on a per file basis. Think you have some 3D engine and then some files are Carbon, or it's yeah. So yeah, stuff still fails because of course it does. What do we have here? Everything's up to date. Make test, run the test suite. It's still on install all here. Are still the same bloody Perl some link. So where's our bin deer? There's our bin deer that actually looks quite... is it here? Install? Running? Make something? Install bin deer. So yeah, that in general looks, I would say, where does it even install that? Leaving, what is this stuff doing here? I guess I need to go meditate this further. It is a start. I mean, so much to yeah. I mean, it's as usual. After 20 years, I think I've seen it all, and of course, Perl is one of the messier ones. I thought like maybe 15 minutes, but of course you don't do that in 15 minutes. So anyway, I hope you learned something. It's probably time to go home and stuff. Hope you learned something. That's, yeah, maybe I make a questionnaire poll, as usual, leave in the comments below everything I talked during the live stream. Basically, yeah, I guess, yeah, I mean, it's a general win-win, right? Except I don't like Perl, but yeah, it's a win-win of helping people, making T2 look better, supporting more in T2, even more cross-compiling again, potentially. Hey, and an upgrade, we could probably commit the update without all the surrounding stuff, which of course we have right now. Okay, maybe we don't support, maybe we don't commit the update yet. Oh man. Yeah, having some irritated throat is not side using, man. This is scratching so much. So yeah, it's scratching too much, stuff is broken, it's late. I hope you learned something. As usual, comment everything what I discussed during the live stream there. And otherwise, I hope you learned something and enjoyed this. Would be amazing if you share, like, and subscribe. And I hope to see you soon, more of this fiddling, and soon our microkernel, other fun stuff to come. Good night, good day. See you this weekend.